country is stronger, safer, and with more jobs because our president has made his every move correct. Don't be fooled by the political left, because we are the people of this nation that is witnessing triumph. So let us stand with our president. Let us stand up for this truth, that President Trump is the greatest president since Abraham Lincoln. God bless America, and may God continue to guide this nation. Much love.
So did you guys see that? Did you guys see what I just saw? So if you're like me, you woke up, you're like, it's going to be a great Saturday. I'm going to go on Twitter, see what's what, see Jon Voight trending, and then I'm like, oh my god, did Jon Voight die? And it turns out it's maybe worse than him dying. He's making this nonsensical, defense of Donald Trump and his legacy and his role in history. And it's just, it's off the walls bonkers. Because here's the thing, lots of people support Trump. Lots of people, millions of people do. Tens of millions of people support Trump. And while I'm not going to get into an argument about, why that is or why they shouldn't, I mean, I've made that case so many times before. But this is more than a regular run-of-the-mill defense of Trump. This is just outright absurd. It's frankly that either Jon Voight is deranged and he believes this, or he's being extremely disingenuous as he says it. And I don't know what's what. I don't know what to believe. The reality is Trump is nowhere near the greatest president since Lincoln. Nowhere near. First, we can really have that debate, can you judge a president before their time is up? In many ways, us historians, I'm trained as a historian, we don't think you can judge, contemporary political figures relative to historical figures, at least until, they've, been out of power for a generation. In history, we often only look at things when they're 20 years old. So even judging George W. Bush as a historical figure is actually pretty tricky. Some historians now are just starting to examine the Bill Clinton era. So this idea that you can declare that Trump is the greatest president since goddamn Abraham Lincoln is ridiculous from a technical perspective, but we all know that's not true. We all know that's not true. We all know that Abraham Lincoln was a foundational president who fought the Civil War, who, ushered in emancipation, and for all of his limitations, was a kind of forebearer of a better America. He talked about the importance of labor before organized labor really rose as a thing. He was ahead of his time. And it's not surprising to me that many people see Abraham Lincoln as one of the greatest American presidents. But to put Trump with him, it's inexcusable. It's inexcusable. What has Trump accomplished? What has he accomplished? There's nothing. There's no foundational accomplishment. There's no creation of a new massive social program. There's no victory in this great, actual war that's worth being fought. He hasn't expanded the civil rights of marginalized Americans. He's done none of that. Trump's done a lot of bad stuff, however. Trump has jailed children, has attacked the GLBTQ community. Trump has not drained the swamp, but ushered in a new era of kind of corruption in Washington. At every step of the way, Trump is making things worse. And while Jon Voight here points to certain macroeconomic trends looking positive, we can have a debate about, if the stock market is up and things like that, how much does that mean to the regular working class person? The reality is that Trump hasn't ushered in an economic golden age for the regular American worker. The same problems that existed under Obama persist, which is low wages, precarity, lack of economic mobility, housing costs being a major issue in numerous U.S. states and cities, and on and on and on. Obama didn't fix these things, but neither did Trump. And now we have a situation here where Jon Voight is saying, not only is Trump, the greatest president since Lincoln, every move he's made is correct. If you believe that every move a president has made is correct, even if you support that president, you are ridiculous. Trump has made numerous mistakes in terms of policy, in terms of his optics, in terms of his conduct, in terms of how he manages the White House and wider executive branch. Trump has made countless errors. There is no way to say that he is a man who is without error as president. And he wants to talk about how Trump has this moral connection to Lincoln, that there's this values that Lincoln has passed down. Trump is deeply, deeply compromised in his morals. Abraham Lincoln did not have nearly the sort of personal scandals that Donald Trump has. Donald Trump is kind of a skis-ball, if we're being perfectly frank. The way he treats women, the way he treats his family, the way he treats those close to him, the way he's treated his workers, the way he and his family have treated tenants that have rented from them, the way he's treated other companies that he's done business with, the way he's kind of used his charity to, build up an ego but not actually help people, the way that he's treated students at quote-unquote Trump University. Trump is not a moral man. He never has been, he'll probably never will be. So not only was Abraham Lincoln seen as a great president, he was also seen as somebody with, a sort of moral backbone that made him authentic to people and that made him trustworthy to people. Trump is neither a good president in the administrative sense, nor is he a good man in the moral sense. And so Jon Voight here saying, don't listen to the political left. And of course, that's bull, because the political left in America is making very reasonable criticisms of Donald Trump. In some cases, they're not critical enough. Like mainstream Democrats aren't critical enough of Donald Trump and the dangers he poses. At the end of the day, it's an absurd claim, and it needs to be challenged. Donald Trump is, one, a bad man. He is not a good person. Donald Trump is, two, not a good president. Somebody who has done nothing, who has achieved nothing positive, and has done a whole lot of negative things. And number three, Donald Trump can in no way be compared to Abraham Lincoln. Donald Trump is not the greatest president since Lincoln, but he is the most racist president we've seen probably in the last 50 years.